Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about zodiac or astrological sign compatibility between Scorpio and Aquarius. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant for both people. They are incompatible by sign. They are square by sign. And Scorpio is a feminine sign, which suggests introversion, and Aquarius being a masculine sign, that suggests extroversion and gregariousness. Now, Scorpio can be very reserved, very private, can thrive on their seclusion and solitude, while you have Aquarius is nearly the antithesis of this. Aquarius is strongly about making connections. They are many of you may know I refer to Aquarius as having the universal friend syndrome. They like to make friends wherever they go. They're really strongly about sociability. They like to spend time with their friends. And Scorpio, especially if this is like a significant other, romantic, sexual type relationship, Scorpio may be too confining for Aquarius, and might feel like that Aquarius might feel like their freedom might be inhibited to some degree or prohibited on some level. And Aquarius does not like to be confined. They don't like to be limited or have restrictions, feeling like restrictions imposed on them. And the thing about this is, now you have Scorpio being a feminine sign could be very subjective. They can make a lot of their decisions on intuition, and you look at Aquarius, could be very exceptionally objective. And the thing of what they have in common, what's similar about them, though this is interesting, is that both these signs are not really quite easy to know. Even though Aquarius is more sociable and extroverted on average, Scorpio is very secretive, and Scorpio really people can have a hard time understanding Scorpio very deeply. Aquarius can come across as enigmatic to others, and even though Aquarius can make connections readily, rather quickly, they're hard to really know deeply. And this thing that's similar with them can actually work against them in a relationship, because both these people may have a hard time letting each other into their lives in order to know them deeper. This is a situation where, say, it's on a platonic level and they're trying to ascend to the next level. It may be difficult for that reason. Now, another thing is that they're both fixed signs, and if there's ever a dispute that would arise between these people, both these signs could be very intractable, and really it'd be hard for either one to give in, and that's what can make this relationship difficult as well. And another thing is that Scorpio inclines to be a little bit conservative and conventional, I think, especially in contrast to Aquarius. Aquarius could be rather progressive. They like to do new things. They're very reforming. They like modern innovation. Scorpio can be reluctant to try these new things, at least compared to Aquarius. Now, the thing about this is, though, what I think is interesting is that these two might actually work better if it was like in a kind of like a working situation than in an actual friendship or significant other type of relationship. Because, you think about it, Scorpio can have a good mechanical ability. And Aquarius can have an affinity for computers, electronics, making new items, such as things that are innovative or ingenious. And they could almost collaborate together with Scorpio's mechanical ability, and Aquarian's often has a brilliant mind. Aquarius could be very cerebral and have a plethora of new ideas, and they could work very well together as far as this goes. What I think is interesting is that you also look at the fact that Aquarius is really, as I stated before, about having that universal friend syndrome, so to speak. And a thing is that Scorpio being very private, if Aquarius brings like friends home, for example, Scorpio may have a problem with this because Scorpio can be rather reluctant to let new people into their lives. And Aquarius could be almost just the opposite this way, as they thrive on often having new connections in their life. So that is something to look at. And the thing about it is that Aquarius can be somewhat unpredictable, being an air sign. Aquarius could also be rather eccentric, and maybe this might throw Scorpio off a little, who is a little bit more, is really not going to be, as far as eccentric goes, and a little bit more conventional in their way as opposed to Aquarius. So also you have where you can have a battle is that Scorpio can be very caustic and sarcastic if they feel if they feel that somebody is irritating them, and if Aquarius can come off with very unpredictable statements. So you could have a little bit of a clash of words as far as this goes, and you can really have a situation where you can have some heated arguments because of this. I think I'm not saying physically combative, but I'm saying as far as the arguing can go because of this. The fact that Aquarius a lot of times can blurt out something, an unpredictable statement, and you have Scorpio that could be very sardonic and sarcastic. So that's another thing to look as far as in the bedroom, so to speak. Well, Scorpio, of course, is can be very sexual, and probably I believe it's the most sexual sign on average. Aquarius is about newness, but they're not really. They could be a little bit detached for Scorpio, but I think Scorpio might be attracted to some degree to the eclectic style Aquarius may bring into the bedroom, but I think Scorpio wants somebody often a little bit more deeper, and they might think they're not having that deep connection with Scorpio as they can get from perhaps, for example, another water sign, like say, if it was Cancer or Pisces, is what I'm saying. So anyway, it's also important to look at the aspect, if any, that is made between the energies of these people, as this could indicate as to whether there might be a little better compatibility than otherwise indicated, or maybe not as good. So anyway, well, in many cases you will have a square aspect take place between the energies of these people. Let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio at 7 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius at 5 degrees. Well, that would form a square aspect, which could be adverse or adversarial. They are square by sign, but if you have the square aspect in addition to this, it's kind of a double whammy. And you could have perhaps even more conflict and challenges in this relationship than otherwise indicated. Now, on the positive side, you could have an out-of-sign trine aspect take place between the energies of these people. Let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio at 1 degree, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius at 28 degrees. Well, that could be positive or auspicious, and it does make a trine aspect. And you might have a little more harmony and a little better ability to work through the disparities of these people than otherwise indicated by the general compatibility interpretation. Now, keep in mind, though, that they are still square by sign, so you are likely going to have some differences as well because of that. Now, you can also have an out-of-sign sextile aspect take place between the energies of these people. Let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio at 29 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius at 1 degree. Well, that could be positive and auspicious as well, like the trine aspect. Now, this would form what I just described as the out-of-sign sextile aspect, with Scorpio 29 degrees, Aquarius 1 degree, as the example. And you may have the ability to work through the differences and disparities than otherwise indicated by the general interpretation, and it may have a little bit more harmony between the two than otherwise indicated by that general interpretation. Keep in mind, they are still square by sign, so you are still going to obviously should have some conflict, though, as well, just because of that. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for zodiac sign compatibility between Scorpio and Aquarius. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about zodiac sign compatibility between Scorpio and Pisces. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.